Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Cade Montgomery.
And I'm Brendan McNamara. Hear about last week's record-breaking Black Friday and what that could mean for retailers in the future.
Also coming up, a local bridge in a deteriorated state is getting some much-needed improvements. Find out about how your voice can be heard.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
Back in 2020, history and geography teacher Samuel Patey was killed by being beheaded near his school in a Paris suburb. ABC News reports that 6 teenagers will go on trial on Monday for their alleged involvement in the murder. The report states that this was due to Patey showing caricatures of the Prophet of Islam during a class during a debate on free expression. After this class, Patey's name was disclosed on social media, along with misinformation about what happened that day. ABC reports that the one on trial is a teenage girl, and she said that Patey asked Muslim students to raise their hands and leave the classroom before showing the caricatures. She later admitted to lying about this. Other students are accused of waiting until Patey left the school to identify him to the killer in exchange for a promise of 300 to 350 euros. The attacker was shot dead by police, and the 6 teenagers could face 2.5 years in prison.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has approved a significant hike in military spending for next year. According to U.S. News and World Report, approximately 30% of the Russian national budget will be directed to the armed forces. This brings the combined military and security spending to about 40% of the entire national budget. Defense spending alone is set to increase by 70% from 2023 to 2024. Russia has set an ambitious goal of raising 35.1 trillion rubles in revenue next year, which is the equivalent to about 391.2 billion US dollars. The Russian government is banking on high oil and gas prices to help reach its goal. However, if these assumptions do not pan out, the Russian government may have to raise business taxes. The budget plans have already been approved by both houses of Russia's Federal Assembly and come as Moscow diverts more resources to fighting the war in Ukraine. Ever since Elon Musk brought the social media site Twitter, now known as X, public opinion of the app has greatly shifted into the negative, now including prominent politicians. Reporter Jonah Summers has the details on this story.
Thanks, Brennan. Global legislators have been using Twitter, which is now known as X, for quite some time now. We have seen it in the U.S. Twitter, for a lot of people, is where the news comes from, which is probably not the best thing. Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo has announced that she is quitting the platform because it is, quote, a global sewer, end quote. Owner Elon Musk has taken the initiative in firing thousands of employees who would watch over the content to make sure that the information on the platform fell under the community guidelines. Well, now that these employees are pretty much all gone, there is really nobody who can stop the trending hashtag #WreckParis. Hidalgo said, quote, this medium has become a gigantic global sewer, and we should continue to wade in it, end quote. Mayor Hidalgo and France are the first nation to commence their hatred for the platform, encouraging others to follow suit. And it is only a matter of time before other nations depart from the platform as well.
A vicious storm hit western Gujarat, India this Sunday, killing at least 24 people. The deaths are a result of lightning strikes, as 18 out of 24 victims died due to being struck as a result of the damages. They have also endured intense hail and heavy rainfall, coming in at 5.7 inches. Meteorologists express that storms of this magnitude are unusual in this area during the winter, and that the global rising temperatures have caused a spike in weather events.
A groom opened fire at a wedding party in Wang Nam, Thailand, killing 4 people and then himself at the scene. There was no clear motive, but witnesses state that the groom, Shatarong Suksuk, age 29, was drunk and had gotten into an argument with the bride, Kanchana Pa Shantiyuk, age 44. He then retrieved a pistol from his car and killed the bride, the bride's mother, her sister, and a guest. The shooting came days after Thai's interior minister issued an order to suspend gun license insurance for a year in an attempt to minimize gun violence. Coming up, hear about the stabbing of a notorious police officer. Plus, Portland school teachers have reached a deal and ended their strike. Find out the agreements when we return.
It was a pretty windy day in Washington, D.C. yesterday. According to CNN, the area saw wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, and the highest being above 40 miles per hour at Reagan National Airport. This wind caused the national Christmas tree to completely topple over. CNN reports that this tree was installed by the National Park Service earlier this month, replacing a previous tree that was planted in 2021 and removed this past November 11th due to a fungal disease. The tree was spotted on its side a little before 5 p.m., but was made right again before the end of the day. No serious damage seems to have occurred, and the National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony is still scheduled to take place tomorrow.
A former Minneapolis police officer who is convicted of killing George Floyd was stabbed in prison by a fellow inmate on Friday. Derek Chauvin, age 47, is serving his 22-year prison sentence in Tucson, Arizona, when another inmate stabbed him at about 12:30 p.m. local time, leaving him in critical condition. Prison staff performed life-saving measures on Chauvin before he was admitted to the hospital, according to the Associated Press. Staffing shortages and lapses in security have plagued the Tucson prison, where Chauvin was stabbed, and other federal prisons as well. Defense lawyers have fought to keep him out of the prison's general population, fearing he would be targeted. Chauvin's attorney complained to the Associated Press, saying, quote, "I view this as a lack of communication. As completely outrageous. It appears to be indicative of a poorly run facility and indicates how Derek's assault was allowed to happen," end quote. A spokesman for the Minnesota State Attorney General, Keith Ellison, released a statement saying he was duly convicted of his crimes, and any incarcerated individual, he should be able to serve his sentence without fear of retaliation or violence, end quote. America's favorite shopping day has come and gone, setting new records in its wake. Reporter Jonah Summers has details on the day and what's come from it. Jonah?
Thanks, Brennan. So U.S. shoppers had an absolute field day on Black Friday this year, spending a record $9.8 billion in just one day. In order to understand the importance of the $9.8 billion, we need to understand the history of Black Friday and why the record-breaking day we had last week could mean a lot of things for retailers both nationally and locally. The term Black Friday was coined in Philly in the 60s, but holiday shopping has been a thing forever. Black was chosen to represent the term profit on accounting records at the end of the year. Black lines indicate profit, while red lines indicate loss. In 2018, the U.S. spent $6.2 billion, and that number has only rose over the years, with 9.8 being the total this past Friday. Retail stores are continuing to thrive, with this year being one of the first years outside of the COVID-19 pandemic. Shoppers were eager to get out and spend more and more. Not only were shoppers ready to get out of the house after stuffing their faces full of turkey, but retailers simply had better deals the past few years than compared to previously. We should expect the next few weeks to be very profitable for retailers as Christmas quickly approaches.
A man was arrested for attempted murder after shooting 3 men near the University of Vermont. The men, Kinan Abdulhamid, Taysin Ahmed, and Hisham Alwarni, all age 20, were leaving a relative's home during the week of Thanksgiving when Jason Eaton, age 48, shot 4 rounds, leaving all 3 with serious injuries. At the time, they were speaking Arabic and wearing traditional Palestinian scarves. The attack is suspected to be a hate crime as the war between Israel and Hamas rages on. But Burlington officers ask the public not to jump to conclusions as they have not found a specific motive for the shooting.
Students in Portland's public school system returned to class on Monday after the end of a months-long teacher strike. The strike, which began on November 1st, was brought on after the school system would not agree to the teachers' proposed 23% cost of living pay increase, among other asks. Some of the measures in the new contract include a nearly 14% cost of living adjustment for teachers, investments in temperature mitigation in school buildings, and expanded mental health services for students. According to Portland Public Schools, this $175 million contract will require budget cuts in the upcoming school year. A local church is closing its doors after a century of service. Hear about that and the Christmas market happening here in downtown Pittsburgh, all coming up after the break.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back.
Welcome back
to
Daybreak.
Chicken Guy opened in PPG Place on Monday.
The bridge would open before the 1-year marks to check out the 20th annual gingerbread display.
Share with you this week's Ray of Sunshine.
We are still somehow hanging around in the playoff.
It gives Georgia Democrats some hold onto the governing body.
200,000 people still in harm's way.
This weather is perfect for those cozy nights indoors.
Mother and daughter Dion and Kaylee Odell, who run a boutique known as the Gardenia Ranch in Ross Park Mall, recently donated 300 cardigans to the Metastatic Breast Cancer Center at Allegheny General Hospital. KDKA reported that these cardigans are known as butterfly cardigans, designed after Dion's butterfly-loving sister, who died of cancer in 2020 and always felt most comfortable wearing a sweater. Maria Costa, who is battling stage 3 breast cancer, told KDKA, quote, "It was the most cozy thing ever. I truly did wear it to a lot of my chemo treatments because it hugs you in a way that it felt like you've got a warm blanket on and it came from such a place where they care about you," end quote. During the butterfly campaign at the boutique, every cardigan sold is another one donated.
After 127 years, a local Catholic church celebrated its final Mass on Sunday. St. Wendelin Parish in Pittsburgh's Carrick neighborhood was founded in 1873 by German immigrants, with the church constructed in 1896. A grade school was built in 1904, with the building later expanded to accommodate a high school and convent. Both schools were closed in the 1990s, with the original building being converted to a banquet hall appropriately named the Wendell Inn. In 2016, St. Wendelin, along with 3 other churches in the area, merged to form Holy Apostles Parish. In 2021, 2 more churches, St. Sylvester in Brentwood and Holy Angels in Hayes, were merged with Holy Apostles Parish, and all 6 buildings became Blessed Trinity Parish. It soon became too much for the new parish to maintain all 6 buildings, with St. Norbert Church in Overbrook closing not long after the merger took place. Due to the poor physical condition of St. Wendelin Church and a lack of money to restore it, the decision was made to close the building as it had not been used regularly for Mass for a while. The final Mass saw a high turnout of people celebrating and remembering the impact that this church had on their lives. At the end of Mass, a procession took place where everyone gathered on the front steps to say a final prayer, with the priest fixing a lock on the door. As Father Steve said in his homily, quote, "Our church is not dying, just changing," end quote. A Pittsburgh Christmas staple has finally arrived in Market Square for the holiday season. Reporter Catherine Greisinger has the details on what you can find at this year's holiday market. Catherine?
It's time to get your holiday shopping done. The People's Gas Christmas Market, voted America's best holiday market by USA Today in 2020, officially opened for their 12th season on November 17th in Market Square, just 1 block away from Point Park University. Inspired by German Christkindl markets, the square is filled with vendors specializing in delicious foods, warm drinks, and unique gifts, with local performers playing live music while you shop. Taking a stroll through the market is the perfect holiday activity. Visitors can find delicacies such as authentic German pastries and the traditional Christmas roasted chestnuts within the square, and can also find warm beverages to carry around while they walk through the market. Local vendors have booths stocked with wares from Pittsburgh-themed artwork and mugs to candles and jewelry made by local craftsmen and everything in between, giving this market a unique Yenzer feel to it, while international vendors support their home countries with handmade pieces celebrating their cultures. The market also provides children with an indoor play area with Christmas-themed activities and the chance to visit Santa's workshop. The market is located right across from PPG Place, where the UPMC skating rink has officially opened for the 23rd season. The $1 million rink, now open 7 days a week, allows visitors to continue the Pittsburgh tradition of skating around the giant 60-foot Christmas tree located directly in the center. The rink will be open until February 25th and will start offering student discounts with an ID every Wednesday starting January 10th. The Christmas market will be open until Christmas Eve, so make sure to stop by while it's still open. Reporting for NewsNight, Catherine Greisinger.
The market will host all sorts of vendors and performers up until December 24th. For details on all the events and vendors, make sure to go to downtownpittsburghholidays.com.
Pittsburgh's West End Bridge will soon see accessibility improvements. This comes after the nonprofit River Life announced a $2 million investment into the bridge. According to River Life, pedestrian access to the bridge is limited due to, quote, deteriorating staircases, which the funding will aim at repairing. The group's 2021 Completing the Loop report, which looked at ways to improve the city's riverfront experience, rated the West End Bridge as being, quote, low quality. Public input on the project will be heard at a virtual meeting on Monday, December 4th at 6 p.m. and at Pittsburgh Musical Theater the following day. More information on the meetings can be found at riverlife.org/westend. After the break, hear about a rare artifact found in the most unlikely of places, plus your weekly weather update. Don't go anywhere.
Regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. The benefits of physical activity include brain health, weight management, reducing disease, strengthening your bones and muscles, and improving your ability to do everyday activities. So, it's time to get up and be active.
An English couple were shocked after a cup put away in their garage turned out to be an antique Chinese cup from the Qing dynasty worth thousands. The rare centuries-old cup was identified by antique experts in Charles Hanson's Star of Bargain Hunt and Antiques Road Trip. Hanson said that he was leaving the couple's residence when they stopped him and showed him the cup. He told the Good News Network, quote, "What was placed in my hands was a magical find. I instantly recognized it as a rare Chinese object," end quote. The cup is made up of rhinoceros horn and believed to detect poison and hold aphrodisiac qualities for drinkers over 350 years ago. The handle features winding Shilong dragons, with one peering over the rim. The cup was inherited by the client's grandfather, and the couple is now placing the late 17th century cup for auction on November 30th. The week has been quite a cold one for Point Park students returning from Thanksgiving break. Weather reporter Leslie Krebs has the scoop on if the cold is here to stay or if we'll see a warm-up soon. Leslie?
Thanks, Cade. After an entire week of bitter cold weather, we're finally looking at some high temperatures. Tomorrow, we're looking at a high of 52 degrees, though with a relatively high wind of 15 miles per hour and gusts up to 32 miles per hour. It's going to feel more like it's in the mid to low 40s. While we won't see any rain or snow, there will still be remnants of a classic Pittsburgh day, with cloud coverage scattered throughout the entire day. That'll increase as we head into the night, with the sky being entirely covered by clouds. Temperatures will also lower significantly during the night, which will lead us into the week coming up. Temperatures will stay around the mid-40s on Friday. However, the rain showers throughout the day are not going to help you escape those winter blues. Those showers will continue into the weekend, but temperatures will increase to as high as 60 degrees on Saturday and 57 degrees on Sunday. We'll get a little colder heading back into the week, with it being 52 on Monday and 41 on Tuesday. Those showers aren't going anywhere though, raining sporadically throughout Monday and Tuesday. We'll finally see some relief of the rain next Wednesday. It'll still be fairly cloudy and temperatures will continue to drop, reaching a high of only 39 degrees. That's my weather update for the week. Now sending it back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel or our website, uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Brendan McNamara.
And I'm Cade Montgomery. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.